Bearcat Bounce Podcast, back at it again. I am Brent Young. I'm joined by two fellas that'll be taking in a game this Sunday. That'll be as exciting as the two games leading up to it. That's right, back-to-back basketball games this week. And then on Sunday, the Super Bowl. Bengals in the Super Bowl. Cincinnati in the talks all throughout the entire week. But that means we're here on the Bearcat Bounce Podcast. That means on the BBP, we talk Bearcats. And then we'll get a tiny bit of Bengals later. But Bearcats first and foremost. That means we bring on Aaron Smith and Chad Brendel. Aaron, Chad, guys, how are we?
Doing well, man. As well as can be expected after the game last night, I suppose.
Oh, man.
Aaron and I have our uniforms on. Brent
Yeah.
Yeah, I hightailed through 465 and just immediately hopped on and said, where's the link for the setup? Then here we are. But yeah, you guys have your uniform on, but as his uniform is a big shout out to our number one fans, our biggest supporter, Danco Transmission. How about Danco? Sadly, for the second straight week, you don't get too much off the over $100 purchase. $58. $58 better than nothing. It's a lot of money for a lot of places. Go to Danco Transmission, get anything over $100, you get $58 off. 58 buckaroos. And also, you still get the mention, and you get $10 off an oil change too. God, I need an oil change. So maybe next time I'm in Cincy, hit up Danco Transmission. But Aaron, Chad, you guys mentioned it a little bit, but I don't quite remember. There was a basketball game this past weekend, yes?
There was. You were there. I sat next to you.
Yes, we did sit next to each other. 80-58. It was one that I came into, and I'm going to be completely honest, and it's probably my biggest downfall. I'm very, very optimistic person until I get a reason not to be. Leading into the game, watching the tape, reading the tea leaves, I felt good. I felt solid. I felt like there was a great chance. Then the ball was tipped. Tajay Moore stole the ball, went in and slammed with two hands. And a 9-1 lead, a 12-3 lead. I immediately was like, wow, okay. It's a different type of beast. And it's Houston. It is the Houston Cougars. I've got quite a lot to say about it. Chad, you wrote your bites. I want to hear Aaron's thoughts. Aaron, were you in attendance, A of all, B of all? What were your thoughts as the lead for the Cougars ballooned quite a lot through in the first 10 minutes? And then the comeback by the Bearcats, and then the second half that was just teeter-totter until the final score.
By the time I had parked and gotten into the arena and sat down, it was 8-3. The next time I looked up at the 8-1. 8-1, I think it was.
8-1, yeah.
And then I looked up at the scoreboard after what felt like looking down at my phone, just at a text message that I got, and it was 20-3. It was a heartbreak of a game because I think we all were hoping that this team had taken a step in the right direction, and I think they still have. But I think we thought that they were up to tournament contenders, and I'm not quite sure that this team is there yet after having watched the game last night.
I mean, if Wichita State's making the last four in last season, I think this Cincinnati team was a tournament contender. Chad, you wrote your bites. Anything more as it was 24 hours later now?
No, Houston's really good. And they're in year 8 or 9 or whatever it is of year 9 of Kelvin Sampson. Mm-hmm. They're well ahead of Cincinnati. They are a top 10 team in the country for a reason.
Right.
As I told you I tried to let you down easy before the game, Brent. I tried.
Yeah.
Did the conversation go a little bit something like, "Don't do it, Brent. I care about you"?
No, I went something like this. The things that Cincinnati doesn't do well are the things that Houston does really, really well.
But surprisingly, that wasn't the reason that they got into the big hole they did.
Because they didn't miss.
Yeah, and that's not what Houston normally does.
Yes, it is, man.
No, I mean, they were making some tough shots. And, a lot of the Fabian White threes were wide open. A lot of those are kind of backbreakers in essence as well. But they defended well, and they made some tough shots. They did. And you got to give it to them. I mean, I don't know. It was also a first half where you saw a David DeJulius that I love. David DeJulius is coming into himself and having a great season in front of our eyes. He had finished with 25 points, had a great first half, a career high 12 of 12 from the free throw line. But when it's just David with no help around him, it's going to be difficult to really beat anybody. I mean, go ahead.
That's what happens when you play a great defensive team, right? You have to have shot creation because they're going to ISO you. They're going to make you beat them. And Cincinnati has one guy that can do that. And that guy did. They adjusted. The problem was they adjusted on him in the second half to take him away. And Cincinnati doesn't have anybody else that's able to step up and step into that role. Like it just, that's the issue with the roster is they've got, we're going to have to get into this eventually. So let's just go ahead and do it. This roster is not nearly as bad as people want to like exaggerate after every loss. Okay.
Right.
They are all or very close to all high major level players, but they're complementary pieces. We've talked about this from the start and the only thing that's changed is DeJulius has become more of a go-to guy. Now, has that just been out of necessity or, however you want to look at it, but DeJulius has become a guy that you can give the ball to and go get a bucket. The problem is in today's college basketball, you need more than one. One isn't going to be enough. One isn't going to carry you. And Brent.
Yeah.
Houston shoots 47% from the floor on the season, 35% from three.
But they were facing the number one efficient field goal percentage defense in the country yesterday. I agree. I agree, Chad. No, but
this is who they are.
Coming into the game yesterday, there were two players that can knock down 3-point shots for Houston. And Cincinnati let those two players light it up from the outside in the first half. And it's a big reason why they were able to build that lead so quickly. It's Kyler Edwards and Fabian White. Those are the two players on Houston that can knock down 3-point shots. And Kyler hit 2 or 3 big ones in the first half, and Fabian hit, I believe, 3 of his 4 in the first half as well. So, I don't know. It was, yes, they are a good team, but they normally get it done like just at the rim attacking. And I thought Abdul Ado did a good job, man-to-man defense down low in the post. I think they were able to hit some floaters. I mean, Jamal Shedd had a career day. It was second most points he scored in his career. Fabian White had a career night. He scored a career high, 22 points. I mean, it was tough to see because so much momentum coming into the game, kind of just fan momentum. I mean, the place was loud and just you could just tell we're just ready to erupt. I thought the video board and the everyone did a pretty solid job kind of lining up the ways to continuously build the crowd. They had the highlights from the AAC championship when Jaron Cumberland went off. Then they followed that up with, having Joe Mixon get out there and do the gritty a little bit. Big thanks to the cheerleaders coaxing him into doing the gritty in front of the fans. And then they had, of course, James White and Melvin Levitt out in center court as well. The place was ready to
Deontay Vaughn was in the house.
Oh, my boy, Deontay, the 317 in the house. But when you get down that big, especially to a team that is as defensively sound as Houston is, I mean, it's very hard to pull yourself out. And I think a lot of it has to do with what you said, Chad. David DeJulius can create a shot. When Jeremiah Davenport isn't seeing his threes fall down, his offensive game kind of gets affected and fall after that.
He's not a shot creator. He's a shot taker.
Yeah.
But he's not a guy you give the ball and you say, go get me a bucket. That's not his game. And Mike Adams Wood's a little bit, but when you play a longer, more physical team, that bothers him. So it's a bad matchup right now because, like I said, Cincinnati has some flaws. They have some holes, and those flaws are exposed by Houston's strengths. Yep. The problem being, what's Houston's weakness?
Man, I thought it's supposed to be depth, but I mean, the way that they kind of just pounce on you, the whole depth thing kind of gets taken away immediately. It's just because the foul differential was kind of in Cincinnati's favor for a while.
The free throw differential was definitely in Cincinnati's
way in their favor. Yeah, I mean, Kyler Edwards got a quick 3. You had Taze Moore get a quick 2. I mean, you just could never capitalize on anything really because, I mean, they just play with just absurd confidence. And, I mean, that's just the culture that's been built there at Houston. But, kind of going off more, like David DeJulius has averaged 18 points over the last 3 games. That's kind of when the quote-unquote, like, cold shooting slump has kicked in. And then in the 2 losses to Temple and also to Houston, David DeJulius was the only scorer in double figures. No other player on Cincinnati in double figures. Right. On top of that, JD 6 of 21 from deep over the last 3. I mean, he was 16. What in those 2 games that he went crazy? He was like 14 or 15 of 20. It's just when you don't have the complementary pieces, it's going to be hard to beat anyone. You saw that in the Temple game. You saw that again with Houston, and Houston's just a lot better. So the point differential was a lot different as well.
Houston's good.
I mean, they are. But you look at Houston as well. Like their entire starting 5 is all 3 stars. And yes, high school ratings kind of go out the window with age and as you get more veteran. But I mean, Jamal Shead was out there playing like he belonged in the Big 12, and he was the 221st player nationally. He was a 3-star coming out of high school, and he's only a sophomore. Scored 17, and at times looked like the best player on the court. I mean,
when you are see, here's the other thing about Kelvin Sampson and Houston. They know who they are, right? Like they're recruiting very specific things: length, toughness, skill. Although they do a really good job developing raw, guys in that 200 range. They do a very good job developing the offensive skill in those guys. But recruiting rankings don't matter because Sampson knows what he's looking for, and he's really good at finding it. Right. But as Aaron and I discussed last night after we went off the air, recording the nightcap, don't look at next year for Houston because
I know
it's gonna get ugly.
The top 10 guy.
He's a monster.
Yeah, he's good.
Let me see if I can pull him up again. But good Lord,
played 5 or 6 times.
Yeah,
he's one of those. Like I need to see his ID. Senior in high school, Jarris Walker, and then they've got another kid coming in that's 24/7. I think has him at 35th.
And we get Tremont Mark and Marcus Sasser back from injury. Shad will be a junior. Yeah, I mean, yes, definitely going to be a really good team. But I mean, Chad, you also look like in Aaron, like Josh Carlton averaged 3.5 points and 3 rebounds at UConn last year. He had a 30 and 10 game earlier this season, and sure, a lot of it has to do with quality of play and the conference and things of that sort. But
Carlton played in the American. He wasn't any good there either.
No, he wasn't. He was not. I mean, I think a lot of it also has to do with culture. Like you guys said, Kelvin Sampson has developed a culture. And when you're able to go out there and you play with the confidence,
that's a big dude.
Looks like Anthony Edwards plus like 10 years.
That's if
he's
somebody
also 6'8", 6'9".
Right.
If Anthony Edwards ate Anthony Edwards, that's what it would look like.
Right. Exactly. But
he's going to be at Houston next year.
Yeah, he will be.
His muscles have muscles.
Dwight Howard in an Anthony Edwards skin suit.
He'll be in the Big 12 in a couple years as well. But I mean,
that kid ain't playing in the Big 12.
Good point. Good point.
He'll play 1 year in the AAC, and that'll be it.
But still, with as good as Houston played in the beginning, with as overpowering they were at times, there was still that run to end the first half, and then the made triple to start the second half by Jeremiah Davenport, and then I mean here's a sequence after this, guys, and tell me what your thoughts are about how close it was. JD hits the three. Abdullah Doe gets a block. JD misses a wide open three. Taze Moore misses a wide open three. So that's 2 more advantages. DDJ misses a jumper. JD misses a jumper. Fabian White splashes a wide open three. Micah misses his three. Shed hits a highly contested, banked in mid-range jumper. And I think after that, it was kind of all said and done.
Yeah, I mean, that was, if they were going to have a shot, that was it. I mean, the problem is, like, if you get it down to 5 there, the roof blows off that place. Right. And you're hoping then you're going to play with some momentum. That what they needed to have happen was for Jeremiah to have, that streak, where he hits 3-4 threes in that half. Yeah. And really puts him on his back. Mm-hmm. But you go from 8, potentially 5, if he hits the wide open one that you need to drop. Yeah. If he hits that one, it's 5. You got life. But he misses, and what? A minute and a half later, it's 14. Yeah, they hit a 3. And Fabian White was wide open on that 3 too. Yeah. And you would think after he hit 3 in the first half, he'd kind of adjust. And then Shed hit that tough 2. And then after that, it was just floodgates kind of. The problem I saw with even if you get it to 5, Houston was just scoring so efficiently that if any of those little 2-minute mini slumps that Cincinnati goes through because they don't have enough offense, mm-hmm. Houston can score 6, 7. And, you're clawing back, and next thing you know, it's back to 16 or whatever, They just don't have enough options offensively. And that's why you go recruit Josh Reed. That's why you go recruit Daniel Skillings. I'm sure if there's portal additions, it's going to be guys that can put the ball in the basket, whether that's a big or a wing or whatever the case may be. You have to find a way, especially in these high-level games against good teams, to be able to go punch for punch with them. And they got knocked out. They did. I mean, but Aaron, sitting in the stands, how electric truly was it, that 12-1 run to close the half, capped off by that triple by Big Vic?
I mean, it was fantastic, especially being up there. The upper level gets, I think, a little louder than the lower level, even though the students are down on the lower level. I mean, everybody up around us, we were all standing. That's something that the upper level does, as opposed to the lower level there on the sidelines. But outside of that, it was a lot of fun. And then came the cancer commercial and just kind of changed the whole mood at halftime. But at least we had the great pizza incident of 2022 there in the second half.
Yeah, what was that all about?
I don't know. I've never seen anything like that.
Did they get bad tape? Did somebody sell them some bad tape?
I have no clue. I mean, I just wonder if it was even tape at this point. I don't know.
Or is like that box supposed to be empty? And then
No. They always have pizza in there.
Always.
Okay.
But it's normally taped all the way down, so you don't have incidents like that because he's throwing it into the crowd and into the student sections.
But there were 3 pieces on one side of the court and 3 more pieces on the other. The Bearcat was going wild, man. I tell you what.
only part of the tape came undone. I don't know, man. The whole thing was unlike anything I've ever seen. I can't imagine that they don't have new tape for those boxes. I feel like the tape was white this week, like masking tape or something, whereas normally it looks like black or duct tape, like duct tape or electrical tape or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's usually good tape. That was not good tape.
No.
Are you?
Somebody got probably a nice talking to about
Are
that.
you guys 10-second ruling that pizza?
Shit, no.
I'll eat that. I mean, I'd eat that pizza, whatever.
I mean,
They keep that floor pretty,
I eat
clean.
that pizza.
Dudes sliding around and everything. They're just buffing the sweat into the floor.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's
I mean,
I'm
like
not-
it's like they're wearing brand new sneakers out there. I mean,
no shot. I'm eating that pizza. No, I mean, as a college student,
As a college student, that's what we're talking about. You're eating that pizza.
that's not how the question was posed.
but
But
I'm eating it no matter what. But yeah, as a college student,
I'm sure I'd have enough beverages in me where I would cease to care if I was in college.
yeah, it just goes from like, whoa, Bearcat, what pizza? Yes, that's kind of the college version of Aaron. Yeah.
I wouldn't have put that many words together in a sentence.
Oh, okay.
Pizza.
Yeah,
Pizza.
it probably would have just been and pointing.
And then Aaron just walks
and then
out
chew
onto the
and then
court.
chewing.
I mean, you got to remember, I went to Wright State where there was not a ton to cheer for. We did make the tournament my super senior year, but yeah,
We got a streaker. No, he's just grabbing a piece of pizza back up in the stands. Yeah, so, something along those lines. But yeah, I mean, still after the game, another thing I wanted to talk about though, guys, as we mentioned scoring and everything. So the big men scoring is this. I'm going to read off some stats. You guys tell me if it's much ado about nothing or something that is somewhat important. Okay, so as far as big men go, I'm going to take Jeremiah Davenport out of the equation. So it's just going to be Hayden Koval, Victor Locken, Abdul Ado, and Odi Oguama. Each one of them surprisingly have one game scoring in double figures throughout the year. Only one of them have 2 games scoring in double figures throughout the year. And Hayden Koval is the only player to have a double-digit scoring game in conference play. Is this much ado about nothing because they rotate so much, or is it going to be pinnacle to have a big man where you kind of have the luxury to somehow go out there and get you maybe 10 on a night or 15 on a night when the deep balls from outside aren't falling?
Well, I mean, you're essentially taking 2/5 of what you have on the floor, and you don't have an ability to score. So that's not great. That's a problem. Are you guys getting echo?
no.
I am getting echo.
You guys go for a second. I'm gonna log out and log back in and see if I can get rid of it.
Okay.
Aaron,